Hey guys, ETN Sun here from Sunbros, and today we are bringing you a brand new series that you guys have not seen before, and it is From Best to Worst by Hero Class. We're going to be ranking all the heroes in the game by their classes from best to worst. Now there's a couple of rules for this. Number one, a single hero can't be ranked in two different categories. So what that means is that Crushed is going to be labeled as a tank instead of a support. And we'll probably do the same thing with somebody like Maganga, who will be a mage rather than a support. And we might potentially reclassify some heroes who are more like a support than they are of what they're originally set as. For example, that might be the case with somebody like Alistair, who might be put as a support instead of a mage, because he's very crowd control based and his main job is to support his teammates rather than do mass damage or carry or anything like that. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started with Marksmen. And Marksmen obviously is the smallest grouping we have, as there's only 5 heroes. But we're going to go ahead and get it started off with number 5. Number 5, aka the worst in this grouping, is going to be Fennec. Fennec isn't a bad marksman by any means. It's just that Fennec isn't a good marksman, and there really isn't too many. There's not really a bad marksman in this game. All 5 of them are pretty decent. I just happen to think that Fennec brings the least what you need from a marksman to the table. Also, when I play with Fennecs or against Fennecs, I have the least confidence that that's going to be a hero that's going to make a difference for my team. I would be much more comfortable with anyone else, which is why he kind of falls at that 5th position. His toolkit's nice, it just isn't overwhelming. He doesn't have great range or great damage or great crowd control. He's just kind of across the board even keel. So that is why Fennec lands at our number 5 spot, and coming in at number 4 is going to be Valheim. I know there's going to be a lot of Valheim mains out there who are pissed off to hear that we're ranking him as the 2nd worst marksman in the game, but we have some pretty legit reasons for that, and one of them is being his passive, which is very, very luck based. You know, it could be a stun or it could be AoE damage, and obviously you occasionally can get stun blocked by a Valheim if he lucks out and gets a couple of stun, passives in a row. But for the most part, Valheim doesn't have crazy range or crazy burst damage. He has obviously a great stun in his second ability, but it isn't overwhelming. And his ultimate would be really great if you didn't have to be really close to an enemy to really make it worth your while. In a lot of cases, from a long distance away, in which you're only going to hit an enemy with 1 or 2 of those shots, you're better off just doing more auto attacks. The ultimate really helps him fall short from being moved up higher on this list. That is our number 4, and coming in at number 3 is going to be Yorn. Now, I know a lot of people are counting down and go, hey man, Slims is still on the board. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's discuss Yorn. The reason why Yorn is ahead of Valheim, and it was kind of a hard decision for me, because Yorn doesn't have really good mobility, ability to escape or engage, and Yorn doesn't have any real crowd control to speak of. But despite the fact that he doesn't have that crowd control or that great mobility like some of the other marksmen have, he does have some phenomenal range because of his passive and some really high burst damage ability. That makes him a legit threat in most games. Obviously, that might change a little bit once you get to higher elo where marksmen aren't really played too heavily, but from where we're looking at right now, Yorn is a hero that has great burst, great range, and can do his job. Not to mention, one of the most underrated ults in the game, which could really be a game turner. If a Yorn can pick off the right person at the right time, it can make a big difference. And as far as marksmen go, it's probably one of the better ults in the game for marksmen. So that is why Yorn comes in at number 3, and at number 2 is Hoppity Hop himself, Slims the Rabbit. Slims is, I know, gonna surprise a lot of people here, but I think he's one of the most underrated heroes in the game. When a Slims player packages the entire toolkit together, that includes his ridiculous potential 2.5 second stun, his ability to hop and generate extra attack damage from his hop, his ultimate, which does max health percent damage, as well as his great passive. When you combine all those things into one group, Slims is actually a really tricky rabbit and deceptively high damage. I have actually come to the conclusion that the most damage that a marksman can do in the game, just raw, sweet, delicious damage, is Slims. When Slims is built correctly and played correctly, his damage potential is off the freaking charts, guys. And I have seen some Slims, and I have played with Slims, and I have experienced this. And hands down, I find Slims to be one of the most underrated heroes, one of the most underused marksmen in the game. He actually has a phenomenal toolkit, some great damage, and he should be played a lot more because he is a very high quality ADC, which is why he comes in at number 2 on our list. And without further ado, we know who number 1 on this list is, and it is still Violet. She's still the strongest ADC in the game because she has some insane, ridiculous burst damage along with some great maneuverability with her first ability, her roll, and she's always undervalued because people don't understand how to properly use her second ability, which is one of the best slows in the game, and of course her ultimate, which when used correctly in conjunction with her first ability's auto and the follow-up auto can be a 3 burst shot if you know how to combine them properly. So Violet hands down comes in at number 1 on this list. She is just too strong. She has the complete package as far as marksmen go. If you learn how to use her second and ultimate, I promise you that you will enjoy. Rather than saying these abilities suck, you learn how to utilize them to the best of their abilities, and you'll find that they're actually pretty high quality abilities. Alright, so to recap, coming in at 5, aka the worst marksman of the game, is none other than Fennec, followed up by Valheim at number 4, Yorn at number 3, Slims at number 2, a surprise pick, and at number 1, not surprising, Violet. Now, that is a wrap for our first installment of the best to worst heroes by class, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, you know, freaking leave a comment below and tell me what your best to worst is. Let me know where you think I got it wrong. I'm sure a lot of Valheim mains and a lot of Fennec mains, if there's any of you out there, are going to tell me how wrong I am. But guys, I had a ton of fun making this. I put a lot of thought and a lot of time into this video, and I'm excited to roll out the other classes to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but as always, till next time.